For any Xbox or PlayStation codes or anything gaming related, check out g2a.com, and if you need any Ultimate Team coins, then head over to FIFA. The code CHES will get you a discount on both sites, and all links are down below. Hey guys, how's it going? Ches back again, and welcome to episode number 28 of the Career Mode Road to Glory here on FIFA 15. We are at the first friendly in pre-season in Season 2, but today we've got a transfer targets video. Now, we mentioned in the preparation video yesterday that we were running slightly low on funds. As you can see, we have freed up a little bit of a larger budget, and I'll show you how in just a second as we go to the archived messages. We've sold currently 4 players. Bobby Joe Taylor's gone to Drogheda in Ireland for 25,000. We've also managed to move on Ayrton Bevins to Athlone Town for 40,000. Don't know where Athlone Town are. I'm not sure whether they're Irish or from somewhere else. I presume they are. Al Khalij have signed Liam Hurst for 35,000, and Ryan Horn has gone to Bohemians in Ireland as well for 20,000. We're also at present, if I delete those, also at present in the process of selling. I go to transfer negotiations. The process of selling Sago Diallo to Shrewsbury, as you can see, for £110,000. Which will free up a large chunk of money, which can go again into the wage budget, and again we'll lose the £750 a week he's currently taking up out of our wage budget as well. So we might have around about £10,000 per week, if not a little bit more, to spend on improving the squad. Of course, we've already brought in Michael Woods here, as you can see on the bench in the pre-contracts from the previous summer transfer window, and we've also gotten in the man in the middle here, Downing, the centre-back, on pre-contract as well for free. So we're looking for players in pretty much every position. I've got 3 strikers right now. I would like 1 more if possible. I'm contemplating letting Tom Elliott go. Contemplating is as far as that's gotten so far. Quezzy's not going anywhere, despite the fact we've been getting bids of 1.3 million plus for him. I just cannot afford to lose the talents he has. Robbie Simpson is a striker that can play both up top and in midfield, so he's definitely staying. And I'm with Diallo hopefully moving out, might need to bring in another centre mid, although I think with Champion, Woods, Chadwick, Donaldson and Riku Ring we should have enough. It might be a winger that I look for rather than a centre mid. And then defenders, I need at least 1 left back, and hopefully another centre back, as well as hopefully Ian Miller will also be leaving us in this particular transfer window. He is transfer listed, I do believe. If he isn't, I should do so right now. Let's have a look. Sell players. Is he transfer listed? Sort. He is not transfer listed. I want to transfer list him. Add to transfer list. He's unhappy, so he can go as well. Maybe we'll be able to get those 3 players. I will need another goalkeeper as well if Will Norris goes, which hopefully it won't be too far away. So we'll have a look at the shortlist. It took me genuinely like 2.5 to 3 hours to go through all of the free agents and all of the loan listed players, to have a look through all of them on an individual basis, scout the ones I wanted to have a look at, then wait for the scout reports, re-associate or re-evaluate rather whether they'd be good for the club or not, and then have a look at all of their wage demands and see whether they're approachable or not. If the wage demands were too high, I just dismissed them even if they were good enough for the side. So this is probably going to be quite a long video. As you can see, we've got a lot of people in the shortlist to have a look at, so feel free to drop the video a like if you enjoy the video. Let me know in the comment section which players you think we should try and go for out of the list. Like I say, I'm looking for a goalkeeper. I'm looking for well, pretty much every position we need to improve on if we're going to compete in League One. So we'll go through these, we'll have a look at all of them. Some are still waiting on full scout reports, like Lee Nichols here, as you can see, although his wages, if I go to loan him, you can see his wages on the left hand side are £6,000, which is a big chunk. I'm not sure I can afford to offer him wages such as that, but we've got some other free agent players here. Haruska, he's only on £5,000, but still overall 66 rating, as you can see on the left hand side. Not sure whether he'd be worth bringing in for £5,000. All of these, I'm not going to be able to bring in players in every position that I want to bring in. I'm just not going to have the option to do that because we don't have enough money. What I'm going to have to do is prioritise now, and then we'll evaluate again in January like we did last year to see if it's worth asking the board for a little bit more money if we think we can genuinely improve on our initial league expectations. You can see this guy, Carlos Lampa, is a free agent. Again, 6 grand though. Not so sure about approaching him, especially considering his positioning. It's only 59. Davide Coppola is a player I'm thinking about getting in on loan, but again, still waiting to hear back for a full squad report to see his exact stats. And he's only 18, but he is 6'5", so that is something you have to bear in mind. Want to have the best stats, but if there's more of him to beat, then he's more than likely going to get something in the way of a shot. We are looking for wing backs as well. Mario Pineda is one that we're having a look at here, free agent. Wages of 5 grand again though, so again I'm going to have to prioritise. I'm going to maybe be able to bring in 2, maybe 3 players, and then we'll just have to reevaluate again as we go through the various different transfer windows. It is difficult at lower league stages to bring in the players that you want, but we will do our absolute best. Still waiting for a full scout report back on Rivaldo Coetse from South Africa. He's on 6 grand a week again, and like I say, if we are able to move out Miller, I would like to bring in a replacement if possible. My favourite we haven't yet got to, or my preference for that particular position. Looking at Bailey Wright as well, although I'm not too sure 5 grand is worth it for Bailey Wright, although he does look half decent. Miguel Araujo, perhaps. Miguel Araujo, another centre-back. Peruvian, I think that flag is. And or Paraguayan, perhaps. I forget which way around the flags go. I know one goes horizontally and one goes vertically, and I do forget. I apologise if you're watching from either of those countries. Again, 4 grand for his wages, and he's not as good as any of the others, but he could be a nice rotation player, considering we now have Downing and Coulson as our main 2 centre-backs. This guy's probably my favourite of the lot, actually. Jang Hyun Soo, the South Korean. And actually he's only on 3 grand as well, so I'm probably going to approach him for a centre-back role. As you can see, pretty average stats across the board, but they are average stats that are still better than what we've got currently, so hopefully we might be able to bring him in. He's not valued too highly either. We're still waiting for a report back on Samadic, but we'll see what he wants. He wants 4 grand a week, so again, questionable. We'll have to wait and see what his stats come back as. He's probably going to be around about the same as Hyun Soo overall stat-wise, but as you can see his marking is exceptional, so perhaps something to build on there, although he is 28 years old and Hyun Soo is 23, and there is a spectrum there for growth. Also looking at this guy, Salah Soliman, he is from, I think that's United Arab Emirates, the flag. I'm not entirely too sure. I apologise again if I have mistakenly got that wrong, but he wants 3 grand a week, so again an agreeable fee, and his standing tackling is 71 to 77, so he actually looks like he might have some standout stats in the defensive department, so he is another one to keep an eye on. We'll wait for the squad report, not the squad report, the scout report to come back on him. Another guy we're looking at still at centre-backs. I told you there's a lot of players to look at. Baptiste C, currently loan listed at Deportivo, waiting for the full squad report to come back, or scout report rather, because he only has wages of 2,250. So if I could bring him in, and hopefully he could do a job and perhaps grow as well whilst he's with us, and maybe, because I think it said yes, his contract is expiring in 12 months' time, so we might be able to bring him in on a permanent at the end of the season. That's something to bear in mind. We are of course looking for a left back as well. We had Luke Garbutt on loan last year from Everton, who was particularly good for us. Unfortunately, I think I've still got him in the thing. I have, but he's unfortunately signed a new contract and his wages are now £9,000 a week. So I really don't think I'm going to be able to bring him in for a second season, which is particularly disappointing considering how good he was for us last year. So I just don't think I'm going to be able to do it, but we'll have a look at the other left backs. We've got Ivan Santillan here from, I think that's Peru again, like I say, same flag. I presume it's Peruvian, but it might be Paraguayan. I apologise again if I've got that wrong. He looks decent actually, good stats all round, and only 3 grand in wages as well. 24 years of age, so spectrum to grow there. Abner does have a higher wage expectation of 6. You can see he's a Real Madrid youngster, Brazilian, particularly pacey, but does look decent. But again, the wage demands might be a bit of an arguing point. Axel Borgman is a player from Schalke who looks again pretty average, but spectrum for growth at 21 years of age. 4 grand are his wages, but still the preference at the minute is Santillan from this lot, and then Bradley Garmston from West Brom. He's only on 3 grand as well, and particularly fast. 93 pace, or 93 acceleration, 91 sprint speed. Will probably give him 92 pace on an ultimate team card, I would presume. And okay in the tackle, but it's kind of his pace that's his standout stat. But at lower league level, pace kind of is above all else at this particular stage in a road to glory like this. Then we're looking at some holding midfielders. Pape Mali Diamanke is a player we've looked at previously, and they weren't willing to let him come out on loan, Leganes Deportivo, but we'll have to wait and see if we can get him in again. He's only on £1,000 a week, literally £1,000 a week. So he'd just be an absolute shoo-in to the club, I have to be honest. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I'd love to bring him in, mainly because he does have decent stats and because his wage budget, or his wage demands aren't that high. Looking at Abdel Khalik as well, but I'm not too sure whether we'll go for him because I don't know, his stats aren't that standout. Although his short passing is decent and his tackling is decent, but his physical attributes aren't overly impressive, and he's 29 years old as well. Yoshima Atoche is someone we're also looking at. Again, I presume, like I say, Peruvian. In fact, let me quickly Google what flag that is, because it seems that there are a lot of people from that particular country. It is Peru. It's the Peruvian flag. I thought it was. There we go. Right. So yes, Yoshima Atoche from Peru is another player we're looking at. But again, the physical stats don't necessarily stand out, and he wants £5,000 a week, so that could be a bit of a sticky point as well. Then we've got some wingers, and then we'll have some centre mids and some left mids. Plenty to look at though. Josh Carson is a player that's only on £750 a week at York, and can grow quite well as well. Does have decent potential, so he's probably one of my favourites from the right mids to have a look at. Decent acceleration, good sprint speed, okay ball control, etc. 64 rated and 22 to spectrum for growth. Carl Winchester is another player we're looking at. Again, I think he's on 750. No, he's not. He's on £2,000 a month, but again, that's not overly large amount, and his stats are very agreeable for a League One player. Whether Oldham would be willing to let him go or not, though, is a different matter, considering he's 69 rated. Matty Blair is a player we had on loan last year, did very well for us coming off the bench, and I might look to bring him in again. I think his wages are quite low as well. Yes, only £1,000. We did try and bring him back in again on loan in the January transfer window last year, but Fleetwood were unwilling to cooperate. Connor Newton is another player that's got low wages. Could try and bring him in on loan. Looks decent. Value, rated at 66 overall. Again, spectrum for growth and pretty average, but still good enough stats for League One. Blair Turgott is a player I'm looking at from West Ham, although I'm not too sure. Wages of £3,000, but probably better options here, to be completely honest. So he's still there for now, but he might get pushed to the side by the time we get to actually bringing someone in. Then there's Andre Taoukouff, who wants £4,000 a week, but could be worth bringing in on loan. Again, having a look at the fact his contract is expiring in 12 months' time, and he's only 19 years of age, so it could be a good grower actually, and we'll keep an eye on him. Maybe we'll try and bring him in on a permanent later in the season. Sanchez White is a left-sided midfielder I might like to bring in. Only £2,000 a week for his contract as well. Whether he'd be actually, or whether Colchester rather, would be willing to let him go, I'm not too sure. It says he's a crucial squad player, so I doubt it. Again, we just don't have the money to actually pay for players right now, unfortunately. Then we're looking at some strikers as well, and then I think that is it. Yes, some strikers and another winger. So Adam Armstrong is a player I'm particularly interested in. He doesn't look like he's got that, stand out a stat, but he does have potential to grow to 80 overall at 64 years of age. 64 years of age? Jeez, no, 64 rated at 18 years of age, and he's only wanting £3,000 a week, and we could genuinely get him on loan. So perhaps I could sell Tom Elliott and bring him in on loan to replace Tom Elliott, or have him in as well as perhaps one of the other people down here. Or we could just keep Tom Elliott and get Adam Armstrong and have 4 strikers at this club, which is probably the preferable thing to do. But obviously, if I have to move on Tom Elliott, I probably I don't know. I'm still absolutely torn with that one. Christian Panilla from Ecuador is another player we could look at in a wide position. So you can see sprint speed of 90, really, really fast. Decent ball control as well. Good finishing as well, and short passing and long passing. So it's only unfortunately his crossing that lets him down as a winger, but could be more of an attacking player. This guy I'm intrigued by, Abdoulaye Sané. His wages aren't that much, I don't think, if memory serves. No, £3,000, not overly too big, and does look like he's going to have decent finishing and average speed. But again, we're waiting for the scout report to come back. Benik Afobe is obviously a player that I'm sure a lot of you will be familiar with. 66 rated Arsenal striker, although his wages are £7,000 a week. So again, unsure as whether we'll be able to bring him in. It's a shame you can't, on Football Manager, where you can buy someone in on loan but only pay a percentage of their wages. It's a shame you can't do that on FIFA as well, because I'd love to bring in someone like Benik Afobe and offer Arsenal the option of paying, say, 20-30% of his wages, and they might be able to accept that. That's something that would happen on something that's as detailed as Football Manager. Unfortunately, career mode on FIFA is nowhere near as detailed, and it needs to be if it really wants to be a competitor to other games such as that, and to really advance career mode. But for now, we unfortunately don't look like we'll be able to afford Benik Afobe. Chuba Akpom we got on loan last year. His wages are now £5 rather than the £3 I think we paid last year, so his contract has gone up sadly as well. Though he did score 2 goals for us last year, although they both came in one game, and I think he played 9, although again some may have been off the bench. And then I think this is the last guy. Yes, it is. Alain Saint-Maximin is the guy from Saint-Etienne that we're thinking of bringing in, a French guy, again a winger. His ball control looks particularly good as well. He's got some really good standout stats. His dribbling looks excellent, his pace is excellent, and his wages aren't that much, only £2 a week, so he's a real possibility for a loan signing in this upcoming season. 18-year-old as well, so plenty of spectrum for growth. Just a shame his strength is too low, or quite low, but hopefully with the pace he should be able to get away from people and not need the extra strength. So we'll have to wait and see. That is the situation we're in right now. Like I say, we're hoping to bring in some extra money from the sale of Istago Diallo, and then I will look to bring in a player to replace him in the holding midfield roles. Although I did send out the youth scout again. I spent £33,000 of my transfer budget and lost a few extra £100 a week out of my wage budget to send the youth scout out again, because that could be the lifeblood of this club, bringing in young players like our scout future star Jenkins Chikawi. So he said he had a potential of 92 to 94 on the squad report when we initially signed him, and he's already gone up 1 to 73, and he's still 16 years of age. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with him, and hopefully he can continue to grow, and we'll be able to maybe even sell him on for a tidy profit in the 3rd season. And maybe that could help us, really strengthen the entire squad when it comes to signing players in the 3rd season. But again, that's all speculation for now. We'll have to wait and see how League One goes. So in the next episode, tomorrow, we will play this game against Forest and the game against Copenhagen in the friendlies, and then try and get some transfer dealings done if we can before the Barnsley game, and then we'll approach that game in the following episode after that. Of course, in the transfer windows, I only do 2 games per episode. That's the way I've always done things on the channel. It's the way I'm going to continue to do things on the channel. But for now, that is going to bring this particular episode to a close. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Let me know all of your feedback in the comments section down below. Feel free to throw it at me on Twitter as well, and of course follow me on Twitter and on Twitch and on Instagram and on Facebook. So all links to social media and to the Twitch channel are in the description down below. Streaming almost every single day right now, so definitely check the Twitch channel out. Growing very nicely as well, and hopefully you're enjoying your weekend. I will bring this rather long video to a close now. Thank you very much for watching. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on all the links in the description, and I will see you next time.